7 versions of the BE6 were launched today. At 26.95 lakh ex-showroom, what is right next to me is absolutely the top of the line BE6 Pack 4 launch edition with the 79 kilowatt hour battery. Now, overall, the proportions, the styling remains the same, but what is new here is this, the special graphite storm color. It's got a satin finish. It's absolutely lovely. There is another new color which is right next to me. It's called the Rosso Impulso, which you get on the Freedom Edition. Apart from this, there are 6 other variants. There's a pack 1, 2, 3, 3 plus 4, and the Freedom Edition that I mentioned. As you can see, front and back, there are no changes. However, there are lots of changes inside. So let's go take a look. So like I told you guys, the major changes have happened right here on the inside. The biggest change, of course, visually is this, the addition of 3 screens, the coast-to-coast screen, which you've seen in the XEV 9S, the 9E, even the 7XO has now come to the BE6. The other big change that has happened is the removal, or rather extension, of the halo loop. You'll remember that there used to be this lovely halo loop right here enveloping the driver. That's now been extended to the entire cabin. So there's this lovely hoop around you that releases a sense of space, along with the fact that the interiors now have this, particularly in this launch edition, interiors are now this leatherette with race tan, as they are calling it. It's a lovely color which releases the sense of space. It elevates the sense of space and airiness in the cabin. This remains slim, so it looks sleek. One of the things that we learned is that extending the screen was not easy because there are safety regulations. Airbags have to deploy without injuring the passenger. So there was a lot of engineering work going on here rather than just extension of a glass screen. The removal of the loop, or the extension of the halo loop, has meant now that there are 2 cup holders, 2 phone chargers, which are both wireless, of course. However, the characteristic BE6 elements remain. So you've still got this jet fighter throttle body like gear lever, the lovely small steering wheel with this little element right there. The mirrors are now rimless and auto dimming, which is great. These colors have also changed. So overall, it just elevates this whole experience. And of course, there's a lot more tech packaging going on right here because the extension of the screen means that there are many more things that can be given. The classic BE6 elements which endeared the BE6 to its customers remain. For instance, the jet fighter-like throttle body shape gear lever remains. The small steering wheel, the compact steering wheel with this little element here remains. The seats which hug you a little tight, these lovely headrests, they remain. But what is now interesting is that thanks to this extension of the screen, there's a lot more tech that can be offered. The tech packaging is a lot more. So you have, for the first time in any car in India, in-car karaoke. You've got a gaming console. You've got multiplayer functionality. You've got tech which secures your car. You've got something called Tech Secure 360, which allows you to speak to people approaching your car even from the comfort of your drawing room, for instance. There's something called Tribe Drive, which allows you to keep track of other BE6s if you're traveling in a convoy for a road trip or something. So overall, a lot of tech. And of course, there's Google Gemini AI incorporated in this car, which is, you just have to give a particular keyword to unlock it and control the entire cabin experience through that. That's also a first in an Indian EV. So there you go. Lots of changes on the inside to elevate the experience, the consumer experience on a car that was already quite good. There is also a head-up display, which means if the driver doesn't want to, he doesn't even have to look at the instrumentation. He just keeps his eyes on the road. How cool is that? And at this price point, which is less than 27 lakhs ex-showroom, I think this is great. Hi, Pratap. Nice to meet you again.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So, this is a slightly different BE6 from the one we've been used to. Can you talk us through some of the changes that you've done here? And this is where the major changes have happened?
Yeah, the major changes are in this, cockpit area, of course. Lots of people love our floating 3-screen coast to coast. When some families came into the showrooms, a lot of the kids actually said, you have the 3 screens in the other 2 or 3 cars.
Why not in this car?
Why not in this? And we never actually envisaged that would be the case. But we said, look, why don't
Because this was never seen as a family sort of car, right?
Yeah, but lots of kids love this car. And, they therefore influence the families to buy a B6.
The influencer.
The influencer in the family. So So we said, okay, how do you not lose the sporty character? So there's a halo, but you can see now it's extended all the way to the co-passenger. But we bring in the 3 screens. It's really slim aircon bench.
Right.
Now you get the 2 chargers, the 2 cup holders. So it's just, let's say, not tamed it, but just made it a little more civilized from this beast that it is.
So it's a little. Would you say that the launch edition is a little grown up, a little less of a hooligan than it was?
So I look at it this way. The Formula E edition,
Right.
Freedom edition, is really the boy racer. And the B6 Sporteq that you see today is more of a gentleman racer. So the gentleman racer and a sport, because both are the same race heritage.
So it's basically the race guy getting out of his race suit and putting on a suit and a tie and going to work.
Perfect. And if you ever forget, then, you know, it's
So-
also in that.
So this is something else I wanted to ask you about. There are these, little elements
Yes.
all over the
Yes,
place.
yes.
Tell me some of the ones that really stand out for you.
Look, I think standing out, you can also be very subtle and stand out.
Correct.
And one of the other, real nice changes we made was bringing in this lighter roof, to open up the cabin a little as well. So, that you don't notice, but you can feel it.
You can feel it because when I walked in, when I
Yeah.
sat in this, the first thing I realized before I even looked at that was that this feels airier than the regular BE6.
That's exactly
but
right.
These lines are all the same.
They're all the same.
The sense of space is a little bit more than what it is, and I think it's down to the colors.
Then colors, this racing tan is a beautiful color. Again, going back to the gentleman racer,
Right.
We see people wearing those sort of jackets or gloves, and then they go riding or racing. Indeed, so we want to maintain that DNA. This is still that sporty.
So how many color options did you go through before you stuck?
We did try a lot of colors, as we do in the whole design process. And if you see in the launch edition, for example, all of this is racing tan.
Correct.
And in the other versions, you've got the black and tan,
Right.
to break it up a bit. So there's a choice.
I think this has black and tan.
We're sitting in the black and tan.
Right.
So you've got that choice at one level anyway, and then you've got the all tan in the launch edition. And going back to your question, our color and materials department or team is continuously looking at what's happening in the world
Right,
out there,
right.
and following the trends and trying to stay at least abreast. Because in the automotive world, it takes, because of the test and validation process, it takes a little more time
Right.
than if you were in a consumer electronics, for
Right.
example.
So also the material. I remember when we were talking about it at the 7XO launch
Yes.
and the 9S launch, there was a lot of talk about the material,
Yeah.
if you remember.
Yeah.
So how do you, like in the BE6, the materials that have been used in the past, they're all very, very sporty materials.
Yeah.
This is somewhere between sport and then moving towards that trend of
Yeah.
premium luxury.
Premium, yeah.
So what is the material that you've used?
So this is a leatherette that we use, but there's this. It's got this. What
it
we
feels different though.
Yeah, it's called a cloud pore. That means a very, very fine sort of almost perforations.
So what are the other pores?
Don't know what other pores are, but this material finish that you're
Yeah, yeah.
feeling, because wherever it touches you, consciously or subconsciously, is this cloud pore, which is very, very soft and supple, and it really is very premium. You're right.
Because there is this sensation of being able to move around in the seats a little bit, which is a little more than what I have felt in the past.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So the cloud pore, the surface actually allows you to have that sort of movement.
Super. Shall we move to the exterior a bit? Have you done anything to the exterior?
Exterior look in these editions today in Sporteq, we basically launched this car a year and a half ago. So the exterior, we brought in some colors which really enhance the real design surfaces of this
So
car.
one of the things I noticed both about the Graphite Storm as well as about the Rosso Impulso, they're both very matte. They don't have that shine and gloss
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Was that a conscious choice?
Yes, it's a satin actually. It's a satin top coat that we put on the car. And like I was saying, it really picks up the shadow and light like that. And we are seeing this use of satin. A lot of people are wrapping their sports cars today in a satin film.
Yeah.
It's just a different sensation when you see it in the open.
Yeah, visually it stands out.
Yeah,
Like when I'm
yeah.
looking at all the other cars parked in the pavilions,
Yeah.
those two stand out visually.
They really do. They
Yeah,
really do. And so it brings that element of newness, and even under any light, you can really appreciate how
There's a
crisp
little bit of stealth about it.
there is and how crisp the design is, So I think
Super.
people will look at the BE6 if they haven't noticed already. I think they will look at it again.
The other thing that I wanted to ask you was that for a lot of people, going from 2 screens to 3 screens may not sound like a huge change. But from a packaging perspective, from a designer's perspective, is there a challenge there?
There is, because you still have to deploy the airbag,
Right.
the passenger side airbag. Now, it's a reflected deployment. That means the airbag explodes, hits the windscreen, and then comes towards the
So this can't be an impediment to that.
No, so it actually goes over the screen. So that's an engineering challenge.
So did they have to redesign part of that?
Oh yes, absolutely.
So it's not just a matter of extending a screen.
No, not at all. Because otherwise your head would hit the screen, and if there was no airbag or if the airbag didn't deploy fast enough.
Right.
So the engineers, our safety engineers in MRV, always I say I think they're amongst the best engineers anywhere in the world. But the speed at which they responded to this challenge,
right,
that the airbag has to come over the third screen in those fractions of a second, that your head moves a few degrees at that speed,
right,
was a brilliant feat of engineering.
Okay, I'm going to ask you my last question, which is also my favorite question. Pratap Bose's top 3 features.
My top 3 features in this edition?
Yeah.
So I love the tan.
Okay.
I think it makes you feel, I'm a little bit of a, let's say, gentleman racer.
Fair enough.
Though people may not agree on the gentleman or the racer. But I think it's a very nice cabin to be. I do like this openness. I love that we've maintained the sporty steering wheel, this sort of throttle. It opens up space. I do like the functionality. That's really enhanced. So that's the second thing, and you've got the
removal of the halo loop came from customers.
Not removal.
Or extension.
It's like, can we have something which is a little more open? I made a joke about holding hands, but it's true.
It's true.
It's actually true.
It's true.
A lot of people say we can't hold our hands. Or for example, 2 cups.
Right.
So I think the enhancement of the functionality, the openness of the cabin, the materials, finishes, and the third would be the new body colors. I think the Impulso is a beautiful red, and the Storm as well is stunning. I think it's just I do think people will
go for it.
Yeah, and if you in the clutter of vehicles and vehicle launches in India, I think people will look at this again.
Super. There you go, guys. Straight from the horse's mouth about the design of the BE6 launch edition, which has some fairly new additions here. I'm loving it here. Thank you, Pratap, for being with us.
Thank you.
And that's it, guys.
Hi, I'm Phil Reich. I run the business side for the product for Automotive AI Agent, which is part of our Google Gemini Enterprise for Customer Experience Suite.
So Phil is the guy to go to for everything we need to know on the tech that's inside this car, which is a big story today. So tell me a little bit about this. What was the brief that you guys got?
So in working with Mahindra, what we've done is we've given them access to a platform and tools that enables them to take the power of Gemini and bring that to their customers. So the experience is fully orchestrated by Gemini, but built completely by Mahindra to be unique to the cars that they have.
And speaking of Gemini, we usually use it on our phones, on our desktops, laptops, and so on and so forth. How difficult or easy is it getting it from those kind of platforms into a platform that's constantly on the move, moving all the time?
Definitely a challenge, and that's why we bring them this unique platform. But the Mahindra team really took it to the next level and was able to build multiple agents to interact with their customers that are unique to them. So it really is a challenge of taking the brand of Mahindra and what it stands for with the BE6 and moving that to have the best intelligence behind it, which is what we're bringing from Gemini.
So one of the things we heard today at the presentation earlier in the day was about redefining reality. Can you tell us a little bit about what is this redefining of reality?
Yeah, so we're moving from a world where you used to have to depend on kind of lax examples in the car where people weren't very expressive. You had to ask exactly what you wanted, like navigate me here, where now you can say things like, hey, I'm looking for a place for lunch. I like this kind of food. Somebody's going to be veg. Help me find a place. And it's a conversation. So you move from having a robot in the car to almost having a companion sitting next to you that you can converse with. And that's the idea. You start to forget that it's not a real person.
So essentially what we are looking at is moving from something which is command and instruction based to something that is actively assisting me in finding whatever it is that I want to do. We also heard a lot about, hey, Maya. Can you tell us a little bit about who Maya is and how she or he elevates our experience?
Sure. So Maya is the platform that Mahindra has built. They're a fully software-defined vehicle, and it's bringing AI into it.
Right.
So adding to what they've already built with Maya, we're now adding the capabilities of Gemini to orchestrate and to have that AI brain behind it as well,
right.
And get the best of what Google can bring to it.
So Phil, tell me something. Obviously, there's a lot of software stuff going on here, and the BE6 already had a base software architecture. Is this a brand new architecture that is being put in, or is this something that is adding as a layer to the existing one?
Adding as a layer. So there's a great AI layer that they've already built with Maya. So this is adding the intelligence.
So this was already ready to accept what you guys were giving.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's how we're offering it, as a way that people can add it to what they have. It's not supposed to take over or be part of their experience.
Be possible, in theory at least, to integrate this software into an existing V6 which doesn't come with this?
For Mahindra to build that in, they could offer it however they need to offer it.
Right.
But that technology is there, and they have since they have a software-defined vehicle, they can always do over-the-air updates.
Right.
So also what you get now, the 17 agents that they've built, give it another 3 months, there's more agents and more agents. So it's almost going to be like a phone. When you update your phone, you get new capabilities.
So
that's what your car is going to be like. Exactly. And because it's such a software-defined vehicle, they can do that very easily.
So two final questions to you. One is, of course, what were the kind of challenges that you faced in developing something like this? One you already talked about is, integration of artificial intelligence into a moving vehicle. But what about the other one, specific to this software? What were the kind of challenges that you faced?
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of challenges when you think of, everybody's used to doing this on their phone, but now imagine in a car, right? So there's two components to that. There's the idea that you're not going to have connectivity everywhere.
Right.
So having this hybrid architecture where you can have things be answered directly on the device when you don't have connectivity on the car, or going to the cloud when you do have connectivity is a big piece of it. But also the intelligence of being a vehicle. So you can't just put any model in these cars, right? So the fine-tuned models that we've built with Mahindra here allow it to work for somebody who's driving and give that intelligence of knowing that you're driving and knowing about the car you're in. And that's really where this stands out.
Right. In terms of the software itself and what it can do for the car and the passenger and the users, is there a limit?
Is there a limit? I don't know. Well, only time will tell. But for now, I think that we keep on pushing those limits and really giving unique experiences that will be assistive in the car. And at the end of the day, all of this technology really leans into making it a more safe experience for drivers, right? So drivers don't have to touch the screen as much. They're using their voice to interact, or proactive interactions.
Right.
Really help make this a more safe experience and more assistive in your car.
Thank you very much, Phil.
Thank you so much.
You have it straight from him. Frankly, for me, I'm a little bit confused as to whether I'm at a car launch or a tech launch. Seems like the worlds are fusing. And on that note, thank you very much.